Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Wealth Reigns Supreme. We are on day 21 of 31 life shortcuts over the holidays. And day 21, we're going to talk about disappointments over the holidays. Disappointments over the holidays can be many. And what it comes down to is, what are your expectations over the holidays? Are you expecting a lot over the holidays with people? Are you expecting a lot with money? Are you expecting a lot, for gifts? Are you expecting a lot, like something magical to happen? Because I notice a lot of celebrities, they will make this a magical thing. And then, unfortunately, for the average person, it's not always magical. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. So disappointments over the holidays can be as small as, not getting the color shirt that you wanted, the whole way up to somebody being abandoned on that day. And so it's important to realize, what level of disappointment, or if you even see it as a disappointment, is it really a disappointment? Because disappointments over the holidays are different depending on who you talk to, depending on where they live, depending on if they're rich, if they're poor, if they're well, because people can be, there's a movie that I watch every year called New Year's Eve, and I might even talk about that closer to time. But it literally breaks down everything that's going on at that moment, irregardless of the fact that it's a holiday. Like, there's a woman, she's pregnant, and it's New Year's Eve, but she's having a baby. And then there's a couple who is working to get back together, and it's New Year's Eve. And then there's a guy who doesn't care about New Year's Eve at all, and then there is a guy who is dying, and then there is a guy who is living, and then there's a young guy who's happy about living, and there's a gal who's finally going to meet her person. So just, disappointments can be measured based on, what your level of expectation is. So if you're expecting to have a great gift from someone, and like some people might expect to get engaged, and come find out the other person is not ready for that, so they end up not getting engaged. And because they're not getting engaged, then now they're disappointed. But the other person may think, well, I don't know why you're disappointed, because I don't know why, that would upset you, because, my expectation was we were just going to have a great Christmas. So look at your expectation when you think about disappointments over the holidays. Some disappointments might be justified because there may be somebody who should have done X, Y, and Z, and you knew they were going to do it, and you counted on them doing it, and they didn't do it. So you were disappointed because of that. But technically, like for me, I learned in life not to have high expectations except for of myself. Because if I put high expectations on someone who does not care about, what they are giving or doing as much as I do, then my expectation is going to be disappointment. It's going to be pretty sad when it comes to that expectation. Now you're going to hear me again because it's the holidays and we're in the car again, so we got to move up. We're getting our water one more time so that we don't have to come out during the freezing cold and get water when it goes down to 10 degrees. But your expectations are critical, to look at when you're thinking of, whether you're disappointed, or whether it's not even justified to be disappointed, you know. So basically, when we talk about disappointments over the holidays, I mean, I would say that if you're well, if you're happy, if your belly is full, if you have a warm roof over your head, probably if you're listening to this video, you do have those things, because then you have a phone and you have internet connection, or you're somewhere that you can get internet connection. So I would say that, yeah, you know, be careful, you know, in looking at disappointments, because there are people who are struggling in such a terrible way, and they truly can be disappointed. You know, we were driving off the exit, and it is 40 degrees right now. It's supposed to go down to 10. There's a guy sitting on a wooden chair with a sign looking for help. And, you know, what's disappointing in that for me is how the majority of people can ignore him. That's what's disappointing, you know, for me. And for him, what's disappointing, you know, is that he has to do that he's in that situation, that he has to sit there and do that. You know, he's an older gentleman. So, you know, it looks like to me something happened, you know, could have been in the military, anything like that. But, you know, I could get into all the reasons why everyone should have housing and everyone should have food, because it's a fairly simple mathematical equation. And, you know, if I was in charge, it would be handled. And unfortunately, I'm not. So then there has to always be levels of people suffering when there should not be. So disappointments can come in many forms. And, you know, we've talked about disappointments in gifts, in, you know, in actions of other people, disappointments in just the reaction of other people. And for me, I've learned not to be disappointed, because I've learned not to have high expectations. You know, when I'm looking at a holiday or somebody giving me something, you know, I'm just grateful for whatever it is, because I know for myself that I can go out and buy it. I can, you know, manifest that into my life. You know, right now there is a computer that I'm looking for, and I'm waiting for the right price, and I know it will come, and I know it will come at the right time. My computers are working perfect, but my other one is so I have an expectation that that's coming. So I'm not disappointed in the fact that my mother or son or aunt or somebody is not going to buy that for me. You know, I'm not a child anymore where you have that, you know, that disappointment when people are younger and they're little, they're disappointed and they get a gift and they throw it down to the floor and go stomping off, and, you know, and their parent just spent a gazillion dollars on whatever this is. You know, they're most likely not necessarily disappointed. They're just in a state of spoiled because they didn't get everything that they wanted, when there are other kids out there that get nothing, you know, in many cases. So unfortunately, you know, the levels of disappointment that we deal with in this world are many. And what you have to do with disappointments is understand that for the most part, unless you truly have lost everything, it's not a great disappointment. It's a setback for a second, and it's a setback for a short period of time, but it's truly not, you know, a terrible disappointment. And so what you have to do is you have to, and let me go ahead and start again. I'm going to have to put the phone down because we are driving on. But what you have to do is evaluate in the end disappointment, the level, because truly not a disappointment in most cases. I used to get disappointed when I was little because we really were super poor. So I used to get disappointed then, but what could I do about it? So technically when you're older, a disappointment over the holidays should be that, someone really had the energy, the time, the space to get something done, and they chose not to do it. They chose to do other activities. Now yes, you can be disappointed in someone over that and hope that they do better the next time. So, disappointments over the holidays, how to deal with that is start to think about other people. Start to think about what they're dealing with in life. Start to think about, where they're living, what they're suffering through, and then you begin to change that disappointment into gratitude, because you're grateful for the fact that, yes, that might have happened. It might have made you disappointed, but it's nowhere near the level of disappointment that many people are suffering in this world. So disappointments over the holidays can be easily turned into something that's happy, that's great, that is something that you can learn from. The disappointment, you can turn that into something that you can learn from. But as long as, you at least have one or two of the things that I mentioned, which is wellness, you're healthy, you're able to walk, you're able to see, touch, taste, breathe, hear, feel, you're able to eat, you have warmth, you have a jacket, you have a vehicle, you have a house, you have an apartment. You can find something to say, yeah, I'm disappointed in that, but I'm grateful for all of these things. So disappointment over the holidays, how to deal with it, again, it just comes down to you remembering how much you have to be grateful for. So that's what what this is about today. And I wanted to get another one in because, as we all know, we're all coming on this busyness. And this is day 21, disappointments over the holidays. So let's turn them into something bright, because what's the use in being sad? Because all it's going to do is lower your frequency and cause you to get more sickness, illness, disease. Let's send that out the door. So let's find a way to turn it around each time. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you again on day 22. And we will chat again. Have a great holiday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.